Now I believe most of those who come here to this channel regularly without fail do not come here to listen to anything less than the truth and nothing but the truth. And so today I'm going to be very blunt, because something has happened in our nation that is a slap to the long-suffering people of Kenya. I'm sorry, I can't describe it any other way. The State of the Nation address was a flop. It was fake. It was empty promises. Okay? Now, as far as my knowledge of the English language is concerned, a State of the Nation is an address to tell the people of Kenya the state of the nation, how the nation is right now. Did the State of the Nation tell Kenyans how the nation is right now? It didn't. You're supposed to tell people things are like this, things are bad, but this is what we're doing. There was nothing like that. The only thing I heard was, we are doing something, give us time. Hey, give us time. What? You know, the most painful thing for the vast majority of Kenyans is that on the eve of the State of the Nation address, hours before the State of the Nation address, Kenyans discovered that to replace an identity card you lose in Kenya today will from now on cost, wait for this one, Kenya shillings 2,000. Okay? A young jobless Kenyan who has just finished school, who wants to get an ID to start their life, will now need Kenya shillings 1,000. Now I appreciate the fact that many of you who listen into this channel, 2,000 bob, 1,000 bob may not be an issue. But I beg you to put yourself in the shoes of ordinary Kenyans, the vast majority of Kenyans, and their hand-to-mouth way of living. 1,000 shillings itatoka wapi? In case you lose your ID, which means you've lost your wallet in most instances, you've lost your money, where do you get 2,000 shillings to replace your national ID card? Where? Indeed, today, the outcry right across the nation is on these increased fees. Hata wadosi wanalia because the Class D work permit has been increased from 200,000 Kenya shillings to 500,000 Kenya shillings, a difference of 300,000. What is this government up to? Where is all this money going? And then you give us a State of the Nation address. You don't touch on these issues. You're completely detached. You're giving a State of a Nation address for another country. It can't be for Kenya, because you're not addressing the issues on the table. Now, I'll tell you what has happened in Kenya. And this is especially relevant for our brothers and sisters in Mount Kenya, those who insulted former President Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, told him he doesn't know what he's talking about, rejected him, and opted to vote for Ruto. There are not many, but I believe there are a handful of tens of thousands. And I will tell you where their vote counted. You see, even to rig an election, you need some foundational votes. If you get under 1 million votes, it becomes very difficult to rig an election. Okay? So they contributed to this regime, whichever you want to look at it. And this is their story. Kenya is the foolish husband who decided to marry a second wife and chase away his first wife. And the new wife came with many promises. No track record, but promises kibao. I will do this for this house. This house is already too dirty. This house, there's no enough income. Has been having a goat wife who doesn't even work. I work. I will bring income to this house. This house will be transformed. And this new wife, this second wife, has a habit of wearing short skirts. And this husband looked at the short skirts, looked at the thighs, and got very convinced. And the second wife noticed and addressed the silly, foolish husband. I know you have not been getting everything you need to get, especially at bedtime. I promise you daily service. I promise you the moon. And so the husband got very excited. Of course, wife number one tried to warn the husband. You know me and you know my weaknesses. You have been trusting me, and I have proved my trust. I have a track record. This young lady, yes, she's young, but she has invaded our home and is coming with nothing but promises, sweet nothings. You will regret. And she repeated many times, you will regret. But you know what she was told? You get out of here, old rag. You can even go and hang yourself. We don't need you. You're useless. And so she packed her bags and left, which contradicted the prediction of the incoming second wife, who predicted she would not hand over. She would not leave. She has nowhere else to go. She will stick here. But the older, wiser woman left. She packed her few belongings and she left. You can guess what happened next. Let me just use one word: reality. Because the character of a person does not change. Everything that was promised, predictably, never came to pass. Even the night service is limited and heavily taxed. Kama hii nywele tengenezwe, if I don't go to the hair salon and you put 2,000 shillings down here right now for that, haupati kitu. You will not get any service. Forget it. The life the silly husband imagined, which was really a mirage, has not come to pass. Instead, it is now a nightmare. And you will not be surprised if I tell you, this silly husband has been desperately looking for his first wife. Please come back. Please, I made a mistake. But of course it is too late. He hurt the woman's feelings. It will be difficult for her to forgive. She has moved on. She has said that she sympathizes. But she told him. And anyway, at her age, she does not need the drama. Therefore, uji sought. That is Kenya for you today. There was a super fascinating exchange on Twitter a few hours back when somebody appealed to Winnie Odinga, daughter of Raila Amolo Odinga. Please, so you tell your dad to start maandamano. The response from Winnie? But you send him to Bondo. Didn't you do that? Leave my father alone. And it is interesting that a growing number of Azimio supporters do not want Raila to say anything. They do not want Raila to do anything. Raila, we relax. Siliwaambia. And indeed Raila Odinga told us, He warned us very early about Finance Bill 2023. We ignored him. What economics does Baba know? Let him just relax. Let him get out of the way. We show him how our government is run. Well, we have now seen how our government is run, where the common man, the long-suffering common man, has now been hit very hard. After all the taxes, after all the difficulties, now there is another problem. If a Kenyan loses an ID, in fact, now I'm thinking, if robbers attack you and they rob you of everything, I can see Kenyans begging the robbers, please, come back. Give me 2-3 cuts on my body, but please give me back my ID. Please, give me back my ID. Now, the true state of the nation today is that truck reversing into the cliff. Kuja tu, kata upande, lakini kuja, kanyaga mafuta. Kwani unaogopa nini? Kanyaga mafuta, kuna kitu bwana. Kuja. That is the true state of the nation called Kenya. Even visiting Julius Malema from South Africa has said, while on Kenyan soil, the Ruto who campaigned and the Ruto who is president now are two very different people. The man who said, nikiweka Biblia chini, immediately I get into power, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 will happen. That man is now telling us, give me time. And he's telling us, give me time, after 1 year of a total horror story. A Kenya which is very different and sinking fast. My honest, very honest, truthful verdict of the State of the Nation address, it is the worst State of the Nation address in the history of the country called Kenya. It failed, it flopped very badly. Indeed, it is not a correct use of the English language to even suggest, even hint, that it was a State of the Nation address. Nothing like that. Especially coming on the eve, the increases in tariffs for services from the government touched many things, including a Kenyan born out of the country and wanting to seek an ID will now need 1.2 million Kenya shillings. So if you went to neighboring Tanzania to work, and then there you had a son, a daughter, and you have been living there all this time, and now you need to come back home soon, tayarisha 1.2 million for each of your children who wants a Kenyan ID. That is the true state of the nation called Kenya. Now, I've just released weekly intelligence briefings number 115. 116 will be out in the next few hours. And there's a very good opportunity of getting hold of my weekly intelligence briefings by taking full advantage of our latest offer on that book, audiobook, The Ruto Kenyans Will Never Know. There is a unique opportunity over the next 24 hours to do so. If you feel that you need this very important content and your budget doesn't quite cut it to enable you to get your hands on it, for the next 24 hours, you can name your price. Lakini usinifinye sana, and for that reason the limit will be 50. The first 50 to send me an email on that email address you see on your screens right now, youmissthis@gmail.com, naming your price. And then guess what? I will also throw in another valuable Kumekucha book. You can choose for yourself, or you can allow me to choose for you. The most liked of my other ebooks, of course, is Dark Secrets of the Kenyan Presidency, How Mutula Kilonzo Sr. was murdered, yeah, and then there's another one called The President's Lovers. Now that last one of you took it in recently, and they were delighted, very excited about it. And yes, it talks about a Kenyan president. And so, you have this very exciting opportunity. Please take full advantage of it. Until next time, this is Chris Kumekucha.